Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Wednesday, July 8th with first pitch at 6:30. It's Woo Wednesday in collaboration with the Wu-Tang Clan. The Ferry Hawks transform into the Shaolin Hawks. Thursday, July 9th, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light drafts.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
I do want to talk to the great Peter King. A lot to talk about, Pete. And I want to start not with Turkey just yet or even Iran. I want to start with Russia, Ukraine, because it looks like Putin, although, he's going to sit down with Zelensky today, President Trump, and he says, I'm willing to go to Ukraine. It looks like Putin isn't letting up, not even a little. I mean, he's attacked Kiev now, the capital, twice in the last 6 days. So what really is going on with Ukraine, Russia?
Today, what's going on now is what's been going on all along. Putin wants to take over Ukraine. This is his first step in moving toward Europe. He's already making threats toward Poland, toward Latvia and Estonia. And this sends a bad signal around the world. If we don't help Zelensky and Europe is doing a good job. Europe has put in twice as much support to Ukraine as we have, and we're supposed to be the leader of the free world. So I think that, and Putin has also made fools of us. I mean, he gets red carpet treatment. The president goes to Alaska to meet him, and then Putin never, ever follows through on what he's supposed to do. I think Putin is going to play us as long as he can. And I think it's important that the president did say today we're going to somehow provide more, anti-missile defenses, Patriot defenses to Ukraine, or at least allow them to perfect them on their own. If that goes ahead, that's going to be a step. In the meantime, a lot of people are being killed. And when the president says so many people are being killed, and he says like 2 kids in the schoolyard, no. I mean, Zelensky is basically, whether he's perfect or not, he's fighting one of the most courageous fights ever. But he was offered free passage out of the country 4.5 years ago, and he stayed there. And right now, Russia is losing the war. They've lost more than twice as many people as Ukraine has. And they're also now really suffering losses in Crimea. So, again, though, but Ukraine can't do this forever. And the whole idea, though, starting 80 years ago, dealing with Russia, is Russia could conquer any one country if you let them do it long enough. And that's why you have united alliances against them, and why I think it's important for Europe keep doing what it's doing, and the United States to get more involved in providing weapons to Ukraine, at least defensive weapons, if nothing else.
Yeah, because there is a feeling out there that we're going to be more, I don't want to say in line with Russia, but if we do end this war, it's because we're going to be better to Russia than Ukraine. Can you see that?
Yeah, I would hope that's not true. I mean, to me, what's important here is that Russia is the aggressor. Russia is losing the war. They are bringing in troops from Africa or North Korea to fight this battle. And that's how bad they are and how bad they're getting hit. But they, again, do have the numbers. So if this goes on forever, Russia will ultimately win. They can wear down Ukraine. And I think the president, when they're talking about a deal, this is not real estate. Get Wickoff out of there. Send him home. This is not a real estate deal we're talking about. We're talking about battle really for civilization here. And Russia, this isn't, like the president always talks about Armenia and Azerbaijan, how he helped settle that. That was a border skirmish going on for 30 years. There was no great loss of life. And that was just, where do you draw the line between the two countries? But with Russia and Ukraine, Russia wants to take Ukraine over. That's what it comes down to, as simple as that. Ukraine is a separate culture, a separate country. We made commitments to them in the 1990s. They gave up their nuclear weapons, and in return for that, from a pledge to the United States and Europe, that we would stand with them if they were invaded. And so far, we are not living up to our end of it.
You talk about rolling out the red carpet for Putin. It looks to me like even though we are the visitors in Turkey, it looks like President Trump and America is rolling out the red carpet for Erdogan. You've heard all my guests today. You've heard the tweets I read on the air. What are your thoughts about that?
I think Erdogan is a terrible person, and it seems, the president says good things about Putin. Now he says Erdogan is a friend. This guy is vicious. He's a brutal thug, and it's one thing what he does in his own country, but again, he has threatened to destroy Israel. Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East, maybe our closest ally around the world. He keeps this up. I don't see what Erdogan has done to earn our trust at all. He has been against us for years, and again, just what he's done to his people. Now, the NBA basketball player came and traveled to Europe because there's warrants out for him from Turkey. I mean, this is a bad guy. And it's one thing if the president wants to say, listen, we made alliances with Stalin during World War II. You can do things out of necessity, but don't sit there and say what a good man he is, what a good friend he is, how I trust him, how I love him, all that stuff. The same way he talks about Xi and Putin. I mean, these are dictators.
Mamdani?
Mamdani, it's maybe the worst of all.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, he's talking about attacking Denmark, which was been a great ally. They had a higher per capita casualty rate in Afghanistan than we did, and that wasn't their war. That was our war. They got involved. Now he's talking about taking Greenland from them when that could be easily worked out. So it's that type of heavy-handed talk against our allies and love that goes toward our enemies.
It is odd. That was part of the reason why I think he was successful the first time around was that he would do that, and it's not because he liked them, but clearly President Trump believes that you keep your enemies closer, right? But in the first term, he would do that. He would, every once in a while say something nice, but then he'd come back and punch him in the face, whether it was little Rocket Man in North Korea or Putin or Xi. This time, it seems like he doesn't get to that point where he gets angry with people that are clearly our enemies. They become our friends because they literally roll out a red carpet once the plane lands. So I know he's used to doing this, Trump, and he's had success, right? He makes his enemies closer. They believe that it's not all that bad and he gets stuff done. But maybe, just maybe, it's a bit much this time around.
Yeah, I think it is. In the first term, he would say good things about Putin, but then fact is, we destroyed Russia's troops in Syria. The troops affiliated with Russia that were in Syria, we destroyed them, wiped them out. And that was done quietly but effectively. So, he was able to say one thing and do another. This time he's saying one thing and keeps doing it. How many times is he going to say he had a good telephone conversation with Putin? And then it turns out that he goes nowhere. Putin to me, is making fools out of us all the time.
Well, not just Putin. How many times has he told us that in the last couple of months that he's had good conversations with people in Iran, and Kushner and Witkoff had a good meeting last week, and J.D. Vance had the phone call progressed, and you can actually work with these people, unlike the first two or three regimes. And he comes out today and says, nah, they're scum, they're losers, they're lowlives, can't work with them. You keep doing this back and forth for months now, and, you got the American people, their heads on a swivel. What's the real story?
Yeah, to get the American people, to get them back on his side, and he should, because I totally support what he's trying to do in Iran.
Me too.
But you can't be saying like you did last week, these are good people now. We have good people we can work with in Iran. These are the same lowlifes that were there all along. Maybe just a different generation, but they're the same type. These are evil ideologues who are out to destroy the United States and Western civilization, Israel first, and all the rest of us after that. And that's why, again, the fact that the president, even like the way he talks about Netanyahu, I'm the boss. Netanyahu has to know that. You don't talk that way about an ally. You say, we're in this together. Whatever differences we have, we're going to work out because we have a common enemy. Don't attack your allies. Don't attack your friends. And then say, well, he's saying that basically he's against Netanyahu, that he's saying that the new leaders in Iran are good people. Now today he says they're scum. And also he can't be saying that how we've won the war. Yeah, the fact is, so long as Iran has the right to control the Straits of Hormuz, and basically that great deal that Witkoff and those guys worked out, you can interpret the language in a way that Iran knew what they were doing. There was double meaning and all the language about the Strait of Hormuz. They're interpreting to say they can control it. So we set ourselves up for that. We can't do you can't deal with these people. And we have to, I don't know why we didn't, and I'm not trying to be a Monday morning quarterback here, but going into this, why we didn't have arrangements that we could control the Straits of Hormuz, because that's the only weapon they have. We can take away all their weapons altogether, but so long as they can control the Strait of Hormuz, they control the world economy. And that gives them basically a bullet to the head, a gun to the heads of everybody. So we have to get that straightened out. And again, with NATO, NATO can drive you crazy. The fact is, if we had worked with them in the beginning, we would have had their minesweepers. They have better minesweeping equipment than we do, and that could have been there. So instead of attacking Maloney and Italy and everything, do that behind the scenes, but use them. That's what we've done in the past. And I was there with Bill Clinton. We had trouble with NATO all the time. Bush had trouble, but you're working out. Reagan had a lot of trouble, even with Margaret Thatcher. But somehow you find a way to work it, use them. Don't just insult them and then say good things about Erdogan.
Excellent job, Pete. That's why you're here, man. You're great. And you got all those great references. You could date back to all those presidents. You served in Congress for a long time, just about 4 decades. So, as always, Peter King, amazing appearance. Love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Thank
Great
you.
job. Pete King right there every Wednesday. Man knows his stuff. That's the bottom line. He knows his stuff.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?